Looking for a fun, different new shirt? Something related to the things you like? Climbing in the outdoors, perhaps philosophy? Visit our new store, theDIHEDRAL Goods, on Etsy, and you'll find all that and much more.
I'm on! Roll!
Hello, everyone. This is Carrot welcoming you to another episode of the DIHEDRAL podcast. I'm very fortunate that today I get to talk with a group of climbers that I spend nearly every Tuesday and Thursday morning with. I affectionately refer to this group as the Morning Crew, and I brought them together in order to talk about community. It's a pretty large group, so instead of introducing each climber, I thought it would make more sense to have each climber introduce themselves by sharing something they're into other than climbing, and then how long they've been climbing for. So Jeff, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Do you mind getting us started off?
Yeah, sure. So excited to do this. This is a cool idea. So I'm glad you put this together. So I'm Jeff Ash, and I enjoy woodworking. So I've actually built a number of pieces of our furniture, our dining room table, our outdoor table, our bed. Yeah, a number of things, and still some things on the list. So that's
cool.
something I love doing. Outside climbing. And then as far as climbing, I've been climbing for 35 years with like a 30-year break.
Yeah.
So I started when I was in high school back in the 80s and climbed literally every day for several years, and then got married younger and just got away from climbing and just started again this past January at 52. So I'm kind of a newbie for the second time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, Cece, how about you?
Hi, I am a pretty new climber. I've been climbing for about 2 years. My adult son got me started, and I love it so much, and I love being able to climb with my kids. I also love West Coast swing. I like to go to different tournaments around the country and spend the weekend dancing. So that's one thing I love. And I'm getting ready to have my first grandbaby. So,
Yay.
Yeah.
And I am super excited and blessed to be a part of this group. I just feel very blessed to be able to be with this team of people in the mornings and just have that community of support and friendship, and it's been great for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. John.
Okay, my name's John. I started climbing actually when I was 17, and on an outdoor excursion, outdoor school that did a lot of backpacking, and then I didn't climb anymore after that. Did a little bit of rappelling with friends and so forth, but never any climbing until 50 years later, when I started climbing again in 2020 or 2022. And so I really enjoy the Morning Crew. I mean, it's something I look forward to getting up to do. On the outside, I like playing military war games that are complex board games that recreate military conflicts, whether it's ancients, Civil War, Second World War, whichever one, and they're all board games. So, and then I like woodworking and cooking as well.
Nice.
Especially baking.
Yeah, we're grateful for that too, John. Thank you. Robert.
Hey everybody. Yeah, I'm Robert Linden. I have been climbing for about 9 years. I was just thinking about it. I started in 2015 at Inspire Rock, where I met every one of you, and started climbing with my son, my son Adam. He graduated from high school in 2015, then was headed off to college. And they had a climbing wall there, and he said, "Matt, I want to look stupid here and not look stupid there, so let's go kind of learn about climbing." And so I started that summer, and I haven't quit since, and it's been great. Outside of climbing, besides work, kind of a new job late in life because of the ways of the world. I ride Harley Davidson. I'm in a motorcycle club. It's not a gang. a great motorcycle club, another great community of people that I love hanging around with. My other son is also in that club with me, so I kind of have climbing with one boy and the motorcycle stuff with the other boy, and it's really great. I'm very, very fortunate, and all you guys are fantastic. Tuesday morning, my favorite day of the week.
That's awesome. Hunter.
Hey guys, my name is Hunter. I am the youngest one of the morning crew, I'd say, by a little bit. I'm 25. I'm a local youth pastor in Houston. Outside of climbing, I've been climbing since in like grad school, so about 2.5, maybe 3 years. And through that, I've just really enjoyed like the community side of it all. But then outside of climbing, some things that I really enjoy doing is a bunch of really nerdy things. Me and my roommates and a bunch of friends are really into Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering. So that's kind of where a lot of my free time and a good chunk of my money goes to outside of climbing trips and spending time, early mornings with all these guys.
Who's your favorite commander, Hunter?
So I have a Locust God deck that I really enjoy. It's really, really annoying, but it's really fun. So there's that, Marshall.
Yeah, Marshall.
Hi, my name is Marshall Chasson. Every group needs its resident Cajun, and I happily fill in for that for this team. Yeah, so I've been climbing on and off really since about 2010, like once a week on the weekends or whatnot, and then really became much more repetitive. And I became a full member of Inspire in 2019, and I've been basically there 3 to 4 days a week since then. Got into climbing because too many injuries kicked up from other sports to where this was the only thing I could do that was left. I had a couple of herniated discs in my back, and climbing's really helped build that up. Outside of the climbing, I am I full science nerd. That's my thing. Like whenever we go to trivia night somewhere, if they have a science category, my wife gives me an evil glare if I don't, double on points in that category or something. But yeah, so that's me in a nutshell.
That's awesome. Linda.
Hi, I'm Melinda. I'm really excited to be a part of this podcast because it's the morning crew who I love. I look forward to each week when we come in. I've been climbing for 2 years. Our granddaughters got us into it, and I thought I would hate it because I'm afraid of heights, but it's one of my most favorite things to do. Other things that we do, we live in our RV full time, and we travel a lot. And I lead Bible studies once a week and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Linda is joined by her awesome husband, Jim. Jim, what would you like to say?
Wow, Linda stole all my thunder.
What do I say now?
Yeah, we've been living full-time RVers since 2019. We stay in Tomball, so not much else I can add. We really like climbing, especially at Inspire.
Yeah, I want to. I mean, almost all of you have mentioned Inspired. I want to come back to that in a little while, but before doing that, I want to kind of focus a little bit more on just the general notion of community. So I love climbing. Everybody on this panel loves climbing. But that love goes beyond just going up and down walls. What really makes climbing special, at least to me, is the people that we can share it with, namely, in this case, you guys. So that being said, do you think that you can each shed some light on the importance of community within climbing? And so maybe we could start from the top again. Jeff, if you can kick us off.
Yeah, sure. A couple of things that come to mind, I mean, is just the general connection that you make each time that you're climbing with other people, the stories, the different backgrounds. One of the things with climbing that I always found really interesting back in the day when we climb at different areas is just all the unique personalities and everything that you'd run into. And it was such a cool and welcoming community to everybody, regardless of background and beliefs and all of those things. We all came together around this common thing. But one of the things that kind of really comes to mind too it really generates strong bonds. And I was thinking of this recently in levels of trust and
Yeah,
and that kind of thing. Just in, we could do a whole podcast on that, but
for sure.
just real briefly, that whole level of trust thing is something that you don't typically see in most relationships, especially not new ones. I've known all you guys since January, basically, and yet there's this bond of trust because you're holding each other's lives, or at least preventing you from serious injury, in your hands, and you're trusting these people, and then they're proving it to you when they catch you falling, and this kind of a thing. And it's really fascinating thing. I think the friends that I climbed with back in my teenage years, just an incredible level of trust and bond in each other, and not just that. I didn't just trust them to catch me if I fall, but they trust me to not do something stupid, and vice versa, that could injure myself or them. Just that whole thing. And it's something that I don't think you really see in most relationships.
No,
Yeah,
that's so well
hard
said.
to describe.
What solid community isn't like centered around trust? That's awesome. Cece, what do you want to say about the importance of a climbing community?
Well, I feel like what Jeff said is one of the most important things. I think about that a lot because I am a new climber, and I just started lead climbing, and that's been particularly terrifying for me. I swore I would never do it, but I didn't want to be afraid, so I pushed myself to do that. But I don't think I would have been able to do that without the support of, just good people that encourage me to be better, to be stronger, to persevere. Sorry about that. It's a very challenging thing, not only physically, but emotionally. There's hurdles to get over. And I do think it's rare these days, to be in a group of people that are paying attention and that are focused in the moment with what you're doing. And I think that's one thing that I really love about this sport, is that, people aren't on their phones. They're not checking their watches. They're not engaged in anything else. They're looking at you and paying attention to you, and you're doing that for them too. And I think that's one reason why I love it so much. That human contact gives you the strength and the courage to persevere. When you just think, I can't do this, you'll hear one of your friends say, you got this, you can do it, lean in a little bit. And you just gain so much energy and so much comfort from that you're able to do so much more than you could have thought without that.
I think we're done here. That was the perfect John, that's a tough act to follow. What do you want to add to the discussion?
Yeah, Paul said pretty much everything I wanted to say, but what I really like about climbing in the community is that this is a sport where, one of the few sports where everybody wants you to win. There's no, man, I hope he misses that jug there and takes a big fall or anything like that. There's none of that. We're all cheering each other on. And it's encouraging to new people who come in seeing this community that we have. And I know personally, when I see a newbie, I like to try to reach out a little bit to kind of get them going on the walls. We had a couple of young gals come in, first time climbing, so I stepped in, mentored them a little bit, and did a top rope climb, tied one in, did a top rope climb with her, and it was well appreciated. And that's what I like is that you can very easily expand the community, and people will recognize the benefit of that, instead of it just, okay, like I think like what Cece said, sitting there twizzling on your phone and or doing this and doing that, just ignoring what's going on around you. We're all focused on each other and cheering each other on, and that's the biggest, one of the biggest rewards. And plus, Tim, you're always pushing me. Come on, John, you can try that. Let's do this now.
You got this.
Yeah, you got this.
Robert, what do you think?
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Tim, as part of this community. You're one of the key players here, and it's really cool, the opportunity to get on this podcast. I haven't done very many podcasts, if any. I think this might be the first one, and that part is really cool. And to do it with this group of people is just fantastic. So when I first started climbing, as I mentioned earlier, when I introduced myself, I started climbing with my son, and that was a very, very cool thing to have that with him. But it so quickly expanded. And this morning crew, this manifestation of the morning crew today, with sort of our Tuesday, Thursday early time, prior to COVID, we had that Wednesday morning crew that we did. And that's when I really got to know you, Tim, for the first time, and Max, who is the employee at the gym who lets us in a little bit early. Don't tell Paul. But that part of it is what I so look forward to. And then, as John touching on the new people coming in, I always, every person I see coming into that gym, if I haven't met them before, I walk up and introduce myself. And then I will try to introduce them to everybody else that's there, especially if they're coming in on Tuesday, just to expand the community. And I think Linda and Jim were one of those people. I know John was one of those people. I remember when he first came into the gym, and anyway, that's my favorite part, is bringing in more great people into this group we have, because what we have is very, very special. Tuesday morning is my favorite morning of the week, and it's all because of you guys. So I just love it.
Yeah, that I want to talk more about that a little bit later, but that whole notion of inclusivity, I think with climbing in general, but specifically with our group, is pretty amazing, and you're definitely at the center of that, Robert. Hunter, what do you think about community?
Man, I think that pretty much everyone's hit everything I was going to say, which makes me really sad, but it's fine. But I think one of the really great things about the morning crew is, like, even when, like, it just feels like family, it doesn't really feel like just a group of people that are there just to do some activity. It really feels like genuinely, like, we do care for each other. And, like, when people are gone, people are always being like, hey, where have you been? You okay? Like, something happened. And I really do enjoy that aspect of it, is like feeling like known and seen even when you're not there. I do think there also is just a really great part of Robert, Marshall, and I just cracking jokes the entire time, and just making it fun. I think that's the joy of it all, really, is the enjoyment that we can have with each other.
We are hilarious.
Oh, yes, we are.
Hunter does make a great dance partner.
Yeah, with the Fergie radios at 7 a.m. in the morning, like, what else could you ask for? Like, truly, it is just such a fun time. So I think that's my two big takeaways of the community.
No, I mean, that fits your personality completely. Hunter and Marshall, they really have two modes. They're either roasting each other or dancing together, and both are incredibly entertaining to watch. So Marshall, what do you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, for me, we all think, climbing is a physical sport, which I'm not going to argue it's not. It definitely is. Every part of your body will get a workout. But I feel like the mental aspect of it is kind of overlooked. And the community helps highlight and accentuate that. If you get a failure on a route, it's very easy to get in your own head. It just wrecks every route you do after that. And, but the community's here, and hey, look, just do this, do that instead. Hey, you're doing great. Hang with it. You'll get it. You'll get it. And that can help break that cycle in your head. And additionally, a lot of times you can get just a good feeling coaching someone else through a route as you do as if you got it yourself. You see someone who's like struggling. Hey, I've been working these 10 minus or 10 pluses. I just can't get over that plateau. Eventually you work with them, you talk, you get a beta together, and you solve it. That it feels great. You know, it's everyone's kind of like their own little child they're re-raising essentially on the wall.
That's
Marshall, that is an incredible insight that I just didn't expect from you.
I don't know how to take that.
No, that was all.
Linda, what do you think?
You know, it's hard to follow you because you've said everything that I would say, but you know, the whole family aspect. When we first walked into Inspire Rock on a Tuesday morning, I'm 66 years old, and I walk in and I see all you guys, and I'm thinking, I'm not going to fit in this crowd. And yet you all drew me in, and it has been amazing. Tuesday morning is so special to me. And Thursday, I hate to miss it when we're gone.
Yeah.
I miss you guys. And the encouragement from all of you, especially people who have been climbing longer than us, some of you guys, sometimes when I'm on that wall, it's so hard. And I'll hear one of you say, "You can do this, Linda." And it's like getting a fresh breath of air and strength to go on. Just, you're all so special to me. And I love being part of the morning
Linda.
crew and climbing, and it's been awesome. So, and I'm getting better all the time.
Oh, you are.
You are.
Because you guys cheer me on. And I like to cheer you on. You amaze me. So, especially you, Tim.
I'll get out of here. Jim, I feel like there's got to be some little nugget left for you to share with us. I promise we'll go in the other direction. We can start off with you on the next one.
We all need help with something. You know, it doesn't matter if it's your taxes or your automobile, or in this case, it's just climbing. And you go to a gym and how do I do this? And it doesn't matter if you start on if you're on a 5-6 for the first time, somebody kind of coaches you through that, and talks to you and explains to you, this is what you do next. And then the next thing you know, you're doing a 5-10, you're doing the 5-10 plus, you're getting up to where you really are beginning to stretch yourself. And it takes a lot of encouragement. It takes a lot of cooperation with other people to get you that far. So the people who are really going to succeed at this aren't going to be the lone wolves. They're going to be the people who look for a sense of drawing together, coming together. And that's how you make a good climber.
Yeah, that's great. So
that and John's baklava,
exactly. We need John's baklava. It's a send fuel.
Well, exactly. Yep. Morning boost kick.
Yeah, exactly.
It's better than a Celsius, Hunter.
You could have a Red Bull, but it's not near as tasty.
No way.
Listen, even though we have the morning crew, Tim and I have something very different called the Celsius crew.
There's communities within communities.
There's communities within community. And the Celsius crew is even more fun because of the simple fact that I'm the only one that drinks Celsius in the morning. And then Tim decided to start the club with me. So
yeah, it's a really low bar. So Jim, let's start with you this time. Look, we have this awesome community. But it takes place at a spot, Inspire Rock. Is there something you guys can talk about with regard to Inspire Rock and what makes it different? I mean, every gym has people and every gym has climbers, and I'm sure the climbers at every gym, and even at our own gym, I'm sure there's evening climbers who think that they have it the best, but they don't. We obviously have it the best. And so I'm wondering if you can talk about, Jim, maybe you can get kicked off on what makes Inspire different or special, or what is it about that place that allows people to come together on a regular basis over and over?
I think it starts with Paul.
Yeah.
He's got this heart for people, and that's exactly what he wants to do. He does it worldwide. He just went on that trip last fall where he went to Morocco and he went to Turkey, and that's what he was doing. He was building community. He was building relationships. He was setting things up, and his heart extends to his employees, and then it comes to us, and we're the ones who get to work it out on the day-to-day individual level.
Yeah, just to shed some light on that, Paul Short is the owner of Inspire Rock. So yeah, he's awesome. Linda, anything you want to add to some compliments about Inspire?
I think that says a lot with Paul, and then just going down to a staff, Max, who walks around on Tuesday and Thursday mornings, lets us in early. He loves to encourage and build us up and tell us that we can do it. And that seems to be the way it is with everybody, all the staff at Inspire Rock.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Marshall, what do you think about the staff at Inspire Rock?
Yeah, I mean, the staff is absolutely phenomenal. You know, whenever I travel for work, I always try to hit up various gyms in the towns where I'm at. It's kind of my reward for traveling in a sense. And first off, Inspire is one of the few gym I noticed there's always personnel not only walking the floor to check you for safety, but just chit-chatting. So they already generate a friendly atmosphere in the gym, you know, and on top of that, most gyms I've been to, rock climbing is generally, you know, 20-something hunter age type sport. Whereas we know we had the babies and Inspire, but when you walk out, it's a broad range, you know, so you never feel intimidated by the other people who were there. So that definitely bodes up well for the community and the family feel, you know, it makes you feel comfortable when you're there.
Yeah, that's perfect. Hunter.
Man, I don't know what Marshall's saying, but anytime I walk in and I see him, I'm just like, I can't climb.
You know what? Yeah,
that's not how this works.
Is there another gym nearby?
Respect the bad hip.
Yeah, no, I mean, the best part about Inspire is honestly the staff. Just like how even like not climbing outside the mornings, climbing like at any time, you always have someone who knows who you are, so you don't feel like you're just some person that is just paying to be there. Like the staff does genuinely care, and I think that's what kept me coming back. Because when I moved down to Houston, I didn't really have like any friends or any place to go, and like as soon as I got down here, I was like, all right, I'm gonna find a rock climbing gym, and that's gonna be where I spend all my free time.
Yeah,
and that's what I did for the first year, and I joined the morning crew, and then kind of went from nights to days, but still seeing just the fact that they even offer something like as early as being open at 6:30 tentatively on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I just think that there's a lot of joy in that, the fact that they do accommodate for people that can't make it at night because of, you know, family or jobs or other things, and are like open to letting people be a part of something just so fun and so easy, you know. So yeah, that's probably what I would say for my parts of Inspire. I like shout out Max. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Robert, you actually had an actual family member work at Inspire, so you literally are family to some of their workers. What can you shed on Inspire?
Yeah, I'm gonna second what Jim started off where it all begins with Mr. Paul Short. He has become a great friend of mine. I've now known him for 9 years since I started going there, and through all of that, I when my son Adam was starting to look for a job, I said, "Man, you ought to try the gym." I said, "I've gotten to be good friends with Paul." I said, "You're going to have to interview and get in on your own, but I can definitely get you a conversation." And he did that. He worked there for a few years and ended up running the summer. Redid the curriculum for the summer camp program that they do for the kids when they're in school. So that was really neat. But yeah, just to reiterate what Jim said, it all comes from Paul. His attitude. He is a very servant leader in the way he runs Inspire Rock Spring, and the people he hired. You know, any business and everything, there's always going to be challenges that come in, but and Paul and I talk about those challenges sometimes, but honestly, you attract and sort of collect and keep similar kind of attitude and principles and those types of you know, core values that Paul has just permeates through the majority of the staff, which then permeates through the clientele, the people who come to this gym. And you know, the sister gym, Inspire Rock over in Cyprus, is also a wonderful gym, but it does not have. I don't want to say, I'm not critical of it, but it's not the same family community that I feel here. And it could just simply be the size of it. It's much bigger, larger than Inspire Rock. But I just go back to, I really think it all starts with Paul Short. And yeah, I really, really appreciate him and the values that he instills in everybody there. And like I said, I love it. I love everybody that works there and everybody that climbs there that I've gotten to know.
The real reason why Robert likes the climbing gym is because climbers are great people to sell life insurance to.
That's right.
It's very important. I wasn't going to bring that up, but thank you, Marshall.
Just in case. John, what do you think about Inspire?
Boy, everybody's pretty much said everything that I was thinking about, but I like the way it attracts people of all ages. I mean, I really like it on say on the weekends, particularly when I come on in and I see all the little kiddos running, clambering up and down the walls and making 512s look like my first 5.6, kind of like, it's such a rewarding hobby or rewarding sport for people of all ages, and part of that is because of the staff that they really actively work with the climbers. They communicate with them and share their enthusiasm with the climbers. And I'll just say a brief kudo to the setters that every time I travel, I'm going to different climbing gyms and everything, and so I compare how the routes are in the other gyms versus our routes, and I think that our group of setters, are head over shoulders above most other gyms. I just think that their routes are much more imaginative than other gyms, and that plays in part, or plays a role in the staff too, and that's part of the staff that Paul has assembled that really is creative in that regard.
Yeah, definitely. Cece, what do you think about Inspire?
Well, I'm going to do a little bit of repeating without doing too much. Paul, yes, I agree with everything everyone said. When I first met him, he introduced himself to me as the janitor, which I didn't believe, but I couldn't really figure out what to do with that. So he's just very personable and very approachable. And I do think that causes him to hire people. And Keith, man, we love Keith. Same.
Love him.
So supportive and just so, calm and gentle and just like perfect. Well, there's a lot of personalities that are good for it, but perfect personality for that setting when people are getting nervous and I think it does transfer. I don't know how much of that is purposeful in, like, does he train them to be like this? I don't know. I think he's really good at choosing these people.
Right.
And it's one of those places, like we've all said Max, because we all love Max. Everybody loves Max. But, Max loves everyone.
Hunter's shaking his head no.
Max, I mean, it's the place you go where everybody knows your name. And if they don't, you can count on Max knowing, because Max knows everybody. And he speaks to them by name. And there's been several other employees like this too. They are very engaging. They're very much paying attention and connecting. They're not just walking around, hi, Cece, how are you? Hey, Cece, have you met Laura? Laura just started climbing, or Laura's also expecting a grandbaby, or, there's always some kind of connecting going on there. And I don't know. I think that's it. There's a lot to say, but I'll leave a little bit for my friend Jeff.
For Jeff, yeah, definitely. Yeah, Jeff.
Yeah, it was great stuff. The thing that comes to mind to me, and I think this is fairly typical of the climbing community in general, but in particular at Inspire, I've literally never walked in there on any day. I come in on Tuesday and Thursday, but I also come on sometimes Fridays, sometimes Saturdays, where I don't know the same people as much. And there's never been a time that I haven't just run into some random person and we just start climbing together. So you always have somebody to belay you. You always have somebody to connect with. And so you don't have to have a friend go with you. You can just show up and you know that somebody there is going to be willing to belay you. And one of the things that I've noticed that Inspire in particular is that everybody, every time I go in there, somebody is, I either see somebody doing it or somebody does it to me, or I do it with somebody, is saying, hey, let me know if you need a belay. Happy to do that. And then people will come over and do that, take each other up on it. And it's really cool to see that community aspect of it. And it makes a big difference. I had somebody the other day who comes in once a month or so, he said, and he was just on the auto belays, and I kind of took him off and I said, hey, you want to climb? And I helped him with his belaying because he hadn't been belaying much. He kind of knew the basics, but he hadn't done it very much lately. So I let him belay me on some things. And then when he was done, he said, this was the best climbing day I've had. And it just, but I see that happen all the time. I know John said the same thing, and it's not, you just see that kind of thing all the time over there. And so I think it's really cool.
Yeah. Let me just add to this. Anybody who's listening, if you show up at like 6:30 in the morning on a Tuesday or Thursday, you're going to meet some awesome people to climb with and an amazing staff to climb with as well. John, I heard you were about to say something. What's up?
Yeah, I was going to say that when I ruptured my Achilles tendon, there wasn't ever a thought in my mind that I was going to stop coming to Inspire Rock on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. I wanted to be there. I wanted to keep contact with the community, the friends I've made, and so. Okay, so for 3.5 months, I was a designated belayer, and I really loved doing it all. It was really really rewarding for me just to catch everybody. And
that's what I came to the gym and saw my first time there on a Tuesday morning when I came. It was, you were there in your boot, and I was like, that is awesome.
Yeah, in the walking boot for sure.
Hey Tim, can I add something?
Yeah, anything.
A couple of things. One, Jess is one of our setters, who's another one of these very engaging people. I work with some young students that I take to the gym sometimes. And one day I had a student there that was struggling, really having a hard time, being so afraid of climbing. And she was encouraging him, as she's working. And she ended up later, he finished the climb, he made it to the top, screaming, crying. And she ended up setting the climb she was doing and naming it after him.
Oh, that's so nice.
It was just, oh my gosh, it just changed it. It was just so great for him, for his family. Just even telling that story, everybody's just like, oh my gosh, they're just, I'm losing my words. Just paying attention. Bobby and Tim, they always know our order. They always know what we're getting for lunch.
Oh, the best food, right?
You just start walking up to the counter and they're like, okay, light cheese. You want your
yeah, exactly.
They always have it down. They always do such a great job. They're just fabulous.
So yeah, Inspire Rock has a restaurant in it for those of you who are from out of town. It's awesome food. So not only do you get to climb with awesome people, you get to eat amazing food. Speaking of food, I sometimes think of food in ways that's similar to climbing. When we go out to eat, it's about the food, and food tastes delicious, but it's much better to share that food with other people. Like there's a community around eating as well. And I think that's kind of a similarity. So as we start to wind down on our time here, I'm wondering, and Jeff, we can start with you. Let's say we were having a potluck and we wanted somebody to get to know us a little bit through the dish that we bring to this party. What dish would each of you bring to sort of represent, this is me?
Oh wow, that's a good one. Well, it's one I can. Okay, I'll mention one. One I could actually make is a pasta salad. I love pasta salad. I love pasta. I love anything with anything bread related. And so yeah, so that would be one. But the thing that I would say that is really much more about me and where I grew up was Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it would be some kind of New Mexican food dish. So very different than Tex-Mex. Very, very different. It's quite superior to Tex-Mex.
That's all.
Yeah, no competition. But yeah, it'd be probably something like green chili chicken enchiladas or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds, I'm there. Like I'd show up
Yeah.
just that sounds good. Cece, as we see you cooking in the background, what would you bring?
Well, when you first asked that, I thought you were asking like, what do we bring like in our personalities? Like, for instance, like I would say for Jeff, he's got so much knowledge. He has so much experience with outdoor climbing and so much knowledge, which I'm sure a lot of you have, but I've been able to talk to him about it a lot. And so I would say he brings that as his dish. He's
that's such a better question than the one I
was just about to say, go CC, talk about
that was way better.
Improving the podcast dramatically. That was
I thought that's where you were going.
The
Yeah.
problem with
Way
that is
too literal.
I have to follow Hunter. I don't want to say what he's bringing to serve.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What is it?
We're gonna
All
move on.
Yeah, Cece, let's get your dish. Like what's the food you would bring? I mean, we know Jeff is the best.
I would bring sourdough bread
Yes.
or some baked something. I do love to bake anything with sugar and chocolate.
Oh, nice. That's a perfect
Okay.
compliment to the first dish. John, what are you bringing? You're another baker.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't bring baklava. What I would bring would be feijoada, which is a Brazilian black bean soup. It has, of course, black beans, bacon, salt beef, cut up rope sausage, tomato, onion, spices, and so on and so forth. And I've never had a negative review on it from anybody who's had it. And so that's one of my favorite dishes to make. It takes a good day to make it, a full pot of it, but that I really like it, and everybody else who's eaten it likes it. So that's what I would bring, would be feijoada.
Yeah, this started off as a hypothetical question, but I feel more and more that we should make this happen. Robert, what are you bringing?
So first, John, you made me laugh. By the way, my face is sore from smiling. I've smiled for almost an hour now, just talking to you guys.
Same.
This is great. But John, you said you wouldn't bring baklava. You have literally brought baklava to the climbing.
That's true.
I know that's not what you meant, but that was kind of funny that you said that. I would have to bring something that I probably didn't make myself, but my wife is an amazing baker and cook, and I talk about these chocolate chip cookies. She just made some tonight while I was finishing up work before dinner. I could hear the mixer going, and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
That's why I started asking the chocolate chip cookie question, because I just had about 6 of them before I could. I will eat a couple more before I go to bed tonight.
Good
but
man.
anyway, I would probably bring those cookies. There is also this amazing dessert. I bring it to work when we do kind of the potluck thing. If we ever do a potluck, I will bring this. It is this Oreo pudding whipped cream kind of concoction. I'm telling you, you put this in your mouth and it's like, that is the best stuff I've ever tasted. But that's what I would bring is my Oreo. But the dessert, kind of like Cece said, anything with chocolate and anything like that, I will eat it up.
All right, Hunter.
Yeah, so this is an easy question for me because my parents actually used to run a catfish restaurant. So I just bring some fried catfish for everyone. Really simple, really sweet. I know what Marshall's going to say. Marshall's going to talk about his humble pie that he's going to bring and all this and all that. So you can go ahead and go on to him, I guess.
All right, Marshall, what are you bringing in?
All right, so sorry, Hunter, but I'm gonna flex my Louisiana heritage instead. I'm either I could bring you guys some like smothered alligator and andouille jambalaya, or I cook us a big pot spotted crawfish. Take your pick.
The smothered alligator for sure. That sounds
It's
like
the season though.
I can do that anytime.
That's awesome. All right, Linda, what would you bring?
I think I would do chips and a really good queso. Because for me, that is brisket queso.
Yeah.
Because you start eating it and you're just chatting. And so you're getting to know each other. And that's what I like the most. The food's great, but if you can do something that makes you just stand around and chat and have fun, I love that.
That's I don't think I'd move. That sounds so good. Jim, what would you bring?
Well, since we're in Texas and money's tight, I would bring a smoked meatloaf. Actually, I would bring 2 smoked meatloaf. And you make it ground beef and sausage and, your breading and some onion and whatever else you want to throw in there. Then you throw it on the grill, cook it over there.
Oof.
And it's really
smear
good.
barbecue sauce all over it and then have that. I would eat one, and then you guys could all have the other one.
A small sliver of the other one. All right. So I really have so many more questions for you guys, and I hope that we can do this again sometime. But before we run out of time, I thought we'd go back through one more time and just see if there's any final thoughts that you guys want to share with the listeners, or anything you want to plug, or anything else you want to say. So Jim, let's start with you. Don't feel obligated if you're like, no, I'm actually done talking. But if you got something to say, now's your time, Jim.
Hey, we're going to Inspire Cypress tomorrow morning, and usually Don is there, Vince and Dorothy are there. Scott's out of town.
Right.
Yeah, so we're going to go climb over there tomorrow morning. So if anybody wants to come, feel free.
Yeah, Fridays at Inspire Cypress, and the guys that Jim just mentioned are part of this community. They couldn't make it tonight, but they're just as awesome as everybody else in this group tonight. So
and there are patriarchs. So
absolutely, they are. They're the best. That's awesome, Linda.
Just being able to do this with all of you, with the morning crew, and just talking about what it means to climb with you guys and enjoy it and look forward to it. That's the best. I don't know. There's nothing like this community that we've ever come into. Jim and I, because we travel so much, we're having a kind of a hard time getting connected here in Houston. And we walked in there and got connected with you guys. And now it feels like we have a place here. And I love it.
That's awesome. All right, Marshall.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go a little outside the rock climbing community here real quick. Pre-COVID, my wife and I, we used to volunteer a lot at the local animal shelter, and we did a lot of adoption events. So I just want to, your listeners, wherever you are, if you can do it, we're very much in favor of adopting, don't shop. That's kind of our Bob Barker moment for the day.
That's awesome. It's fun hearing like you and Hunter specifically be nice. I mean, you're always nice to me, but you're not always nice to each other. There's a real new side of you that I'm seeing. So Hunter, what would you like to say?
I'm not saying go adopt Hunter.
Well, I don't even know what I want to say anymore, because I was going to say something kind of making a joke at Marshall's expense, but now I feel kind of bad. Anyway, so I am taking new belay applications. Marshall's been kind of slacking recently. Too many short clips. Taking when I don't even say take, like I just don't think it's worth it anymore. Bro. So if you're interested, find me Tuesday and Thursday morning, and we can talk about potentially belaying each other. Okay.
That's great. Robert,
I got no.
Yeah, Marshall and Hunter are fantastic, and all the ribbing and teasing is one of the best parts. And I got to say that. Tam, I'd kind of like to talk to any listeners that are out there. We are very fortunate to have such a connected group. And I was thinking about when I first walked into that gym 9 years ago, how I felt, and I felt very welcome and everything, but I never would have walked up to anybody and just introduced myself out of the blue. I never would have thought about belaying with somebody that I didn't know, but it was because it was new. The point I'm making is for anybody that's kind of a new climber and Linda mentioned it, and a couple of us have mentioned it. We're all ages, all walks of life. The backgrounds of all of us could not be more different and unique, but we have this one thing in common. And I'm telling you, anybody else just unsure about climbing or kind of intimidated by it, I'm telling you, it is, especially at Inspire Rock in spring, it is the most wonderful place, welcoming group of people. I hope you've heard that throughout this whole thing, and it really is like that. And it's not just us. Everybody there, it would bend over backwards because we enjoy climbing so much. We enjoy this community of people, and we have that one common thread that just brings so many different unique people together. That's my favorite part of it. I seriously, Tuesday morning is my absolute favorite day of the week. I don't get to come on Thursdays, sadly. I miss you guys every time, but
we miss you.
but I make up for it and do Tuesday twice as hard. So
Yeah.
Anyway, but anybody listening, man, come join us. It's an amazing thing, and we would love to welcome you into our group.
For sure. John, what would you offer for some closing thoughts?
Boy, yeah, again, people have touched on a lot of what I would have said. I think that what Linda said rang poignant with me because I've been living down here for quite some time, but I never really had any what you would call a group of friends. Sure, you go to work, but I didn't really interact with them outside of work. But now since I started climbing, then now I'm a part of this great community of people, and young and old. And so it's something that I think anybody can profit by to join. And so if anybody who might listen to this podcast, come on in early morning Tuesday and Thursday, and we'll introduce you to the walls and have fun.
For sure. Cece, closing thoughts?
Yes, I would also like to just talk to anyone who's listening and say, if you're looking for good exercise or good friends or something to challenge yourself with, I would encourage you to climb wherever you can in your community. I think one of the things I love the most about climbing is that it does cross all ages and genders. We have two friends that are 81 in our group and one that's 14, and we're all different skill levels. Some of us new, some of us have been climbing a very long time, and we're able to climb with each other. And I think that's the most beautiful part of it, that you can see Scott with his granddaughter or Megan who's pregnant, or it just doesn't matter what stage of life or ability you're in, you can still climb with someone. They don't have to be new, you don't have to be good. So I encourage you to do that.
That's perfect. All right, Jeff, final one. What do you think?
Yeah, there's so many great insights there, and it's been really great to have this conversation. And I think it's so important because I think that is such a huge aspect of climbing, that community. And one of the things, so I coach people in something called intuitive eating, and one of the things that is a part of that framework and the principles of it is finding something called joyful movement. So there's so much focus in our, in fitness and health around, working out hard, burning calories, what exercise is optimal for building muscle, what exercise is optimal for burning fat, which one for heart health, and this and that. And it's like the wrong question to be asking. It's like, what are you going to do that you're going to enjoy and it's going to benefit you from, benefit all aspects of your health, all the different facets of your health, not just the physical, the emotional, psychological, social, spiritual, financial, all these different facets of your health. And climbing is one of those things that does that. It is this joyful movement that it takes you away from this thing that feels like exercise. Even though I'm very focused right now on training for climbing and improving it, it's still very fun, and it's building up my body my physical health, but it's also because of this community, it's building up my social, my spiritual, my emotional, psychological facets of health just as much as it is the physical. And I think that that's something that a lot of people miss when in these conversations about health and fitness and what's good for you and that, and finding something like climbing, whether it's climbing or something similar. It's just an amazing thing when you have that community that and an activity that nurtures all of those different facets of health.
Man, that's
If I
perfect.
may say one thing more.
Yeah, go ahead. Of course.
You compare climbing. I compare climbing. What we have here with our group in climbing with what you typically encounter when you go to, say, LA Fitness. That you see people just by themselves, pumping iron or doing whatever, but they're not really interacting with each other.
Right.
And that is the big difference here. I mean, climbing is a really great exercise for the whole body. It's dynamic, whereas something like lifting weights, which I don't look askance at lifting weights, but lifting weights is static. It's a static activity that you're doing one motion and one motion only, whereas climbing, you don't know what you're going to have to do with your body next while you're on that wall.
Right.
Yeah, you might swing around so your right hip is against the wall, and then the next hold up, you have to swing so your left hip is against the wall, back and forth and so forth. But with the community though, we have this community together that we're doing this all together, which is such a nice thing. I really cherish this.
That's perfect, John. I can't thank you guys enough. I mean, I'm really happy to be part of this community. You guys were amazing today, and I really can't wait to see you on Tuesday next time we're all together. So thank you for joining me. We'll look forward to talking to you guys really soon.
All right.
Okay.
Everyone take care. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you enjoy listening to adventure stories, then you should visit theDIHEDRAL.com. You will find stories from other members of the community and read about climbing, life, and the outdoors. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Let's connect and climb on.
Climb on!